Mataji, please accept this. All glory Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to all of you and all the devotees.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for joining today. And we have, I think, 5-6 devotees online. So if you want, we can start, or we can wait for a few more minutes if you think.
I don't know. These are the most difficult questions for me.
We can maybe start it with the prayers, and then by the time it will be 5 minutes, so we would have waited.
Okay.
It's okay. Thank you, Mataji. Over to you.
Okay. Omagyanati mirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, shall I start? Okay.
Yes, we can start. I just would like to make aware to all the devotees that today's topic is, as far as I'm aware, is Vishwamitra Muni. And Mataji will be enlightening us about this scent. So it'll be nice to hear. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The reason for this topic is that lately, sorry, this is some advertisement. There is this book from Shubha Vilas Prabhu, and usually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in different parts of Bhagavatam, we can read of some parts of Vishwamitra Muni's life. But this book nicely recapped it from beginning to the so-called end. And it's very, I found it very instructive, because we can see how someone had grown from a proud state to full devotion to the Lord. And also it was very nice to see many of the challenges he had to take, which we also have to deal with. And so I thought it would be nice to speak about this. And also, I think it will be somewhat shorter than usually I speak, and I really would be happy if there would be some kind of discussion in the end about what touched you from this story, because it's not that there is only one thing to learn from this. Everybody has different mood, different experiences, and it would be really nice to have some kind of exchange of this. If there is nothing, I prepared some questions, so maybe that will help. So this is the plan. So let's start the story. So originally, Vishwamitra Muni, his name was different. He was called Kaushika, and he was a king. And as far as I heard, he was a good king. He many times went to the people and solved their problems, their difficulties. And so he managed his duties very nicely. And you know that for kings, the Vedic way was for preparing to fight and practicing is that sometimes they went for hunting. And on one occasion, Vishwamitra went with his entourage. Sorry, this is a difficult word for me. so with his people. Went for a hunting, and during that hunt, he found a small ashram of one sage, And when he arrived, he saw that this is a very, very simple ashram, not much opulence or something like that. And soon he heard that this is Vasishta Muni's ashram. And Vasishta Muni was very famous, so this king also heard about him. And it was a custom that kings also paid obeisances to sages. So he hurried to look for Vasishta Muni to offer obeisances. And he was very polite, very respectful, just offered obeisances. Vasishta Muni was really kind and just lifted him up and embraced him and said very kind words to him. And that Vedic culture has a really, really nice, culture about how to receive guests. And Vasishta Muni invited the king and all his people, so they would be his guests. And the king just looked around, saw that, oh, this is very, very poor place. So probably it would be a big burden for the sage to receive all his people. And just to imagine what it meant, that the king had 100 sons with him and many thousands of people also. So it was a big, big crowd. And so the king told Vasishta Muni that, oh, it's really not necessary, your kind words, your sweet words, the way you greeted me, it was more than enough to please me, to give me happiness. But Vasishta Muni was really determined that he would like to receive the king and all the others. So the king had to accept this offer. And so everyone came, and at that point, Vasishta Muni brought a cow. This cow was named Shabala, and this was a very special cow. Actually, Vasishta Muni had austerities previously, and when the churning of the milk ocean took place, Sri Vishnu personally gave this cow, who came out of the milk ocean at that time. So he gave this cow to Vasishta Muni, and this cow was a wish-fulfilling cow. So it was a very, very special cow. And Vasishta Muni told this cow, asked her to help to prepare a nice feast for all the guests. And the cow did it. And she created a big feast with hundreds of preparations, with all the different tastes. It was totally according to, the science of Ayurveda. So it was a really, really rich feast. And, the king sat there and just eating all the preparations and started to think about that he never ate such a big feast, even though he was the king. So it was it really meant something, and so he just couldn't take off his eyes of the cow. And you know what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, when meditation starts on the sense objects, so the desire starts to become stronger and stronger and stronger. So at some point, the king had this feeling that, oh, what a waste that such a poor sage has this cow, and I could so much more useful use her. Actually, the proper word is use the cow, because I could do nice sacrifices and so much more. And he really started to think about how he could get the cow. So at one point, he just decided that, okay, I will purchase this cow. So he offered many things in exchange. So he offered 100,000 of milking cows to Vasishta Muni in exchange. But Vasishtha Muni looked at the cow in a different way. You know, for him, the cow was his mother, and also they had a personal relationship. So it wasn't just something to sell away for other cows. And so he rejected this offer. And then the king, because you know, when we see others, actually we see the mirror of ourselves. So because he had this way of thinking, he thought that, okay, I think he would sell this cow to me. He just wants a bigger price. So he offered even more things, like 14,000 of elephants, 800 golden chariots, 11,000 horses, and 10 millions of milking cows. So he didn't even think about it, that, you know, why would Vasishtha Muni need all these things? So Vasishtha Muni again rejected this offer, and really determined way, he told that he wouldn't sell the cow for anything. And you know, till this point, the king Vishwamitra was really respectful, as a king really should be. This is how, you know, according to etiquette and stuff. But here came one point when he had a desire which couldn't be fulfilled. And these are the circumstances which brings out our true nature. So Vishwamitra started to think that, okay, I am the king, so everything which is here on this land is actually mine. So I can just take this cow because it's mine. So he just started to take the cow without asking anything. And Vasishtha actually told him that, please, my dear king, notice that this cow doesn't stand on the ground. The cow was a little bit above the ground. So actually the cow doesn't stand on your land. But anyway, so the king was really determined. And the cow was really, really unhappy. So tears came from her eyes, and she thought that, oh, maybe I did something wrong, that this Muni Vasishtha wasn't pleased with me, so that's why he lets this other person take me. But because they had this different kind of relationship, so she just tear herself from the king, and just ran back to Vasishtha and asked him why did he let the king take her away. And Vasishtha said that actually this is the king. I have to obey what he says, and also the king is the representative of God himself, and he's my guest. What could I do? So the cow asked him to at least let her to defend herself. And after all, Vasishtha Muni gave his approval. So at first, the cow Shabala, she manifested from her body some soldiers, but the soldiers of the king defeated all these soldiers. And at this point, she manifested even more soldiers, different kind of armies. There is a big description of which kind of army, of which part of the cow, which nation could it be? So big army came from her body, and actually this army defeated the army of Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra was left, and his 100 sons, and the sons attacked Vasishtha Muni. But Vasishtha Muni was a powerful sage, so he just said a powerful Om mantra, And all the sons who were there, they died. So there was Vishwamitra by himself, and you can imagine that, oh wow, here is a cow, and here is an old man, and all my sons, all my army, they are defeated, and I'm here by myself, and what can I do? So his pride was really, really wounded at that point. And when we get into situations like this, it's like there are two roads ahead of us. So we can look at what we can learn, how we can be more humble, or we can take the road of revenge. And actually, this was the road which Vishwamitra chose. So he went home to his kingdom and crowned one of his remaining sons to be king. And he went into the mountains and started to perform austerities to please Lord Shiva. And after some years of great austerities, Lord Shiva appeared before Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra, as a king, he was always thinking how I can have greater power. But the concept of power is different for different people. And for kings, power usually means big army, big weapons, powerful weapons. So he asked for all the powerful missiles and weapons of the world. And Lord Shiva, he was intelligent. He knew that there's no point asking for something like this. But anyway, he smiled a little bit and granted his wish. So Vishwamitra was really, really proud at this point, and thought that, okay, now I'm invincible. I will go back to Vasishta and just bomb everything there and make it, to everything to the ground, to just destroy it. So he went to Vasishta Muni's ashram and started to blow some missiles there, and the disciples of Vasishta Muni, they started to panic a little bit, run around. There was big commotion, and so Vasishta Muni came out. What happens here? And he saw Vishwamitra and all that he does, and he really, really strictly scolded him that what's the point of all this? Because actually there was no point, but Vishwamitra was really blinded by the wish for revenge, and he couldn't listen to all these words, and just started to blow all these missiles. And Vasishta was just standing there. He had this Brahmadanda in his hand, which had all these powers, which was the result of his previous austerities. And this danda just destroyed all these missiles. So in the end, Vishwamitra had only this Brahmastra weapon, but he thought that, okay, this is the most powerful weapon of the universe. This will surely destroy him. And so he also used this weapon. This weapon was also destroyed as just as well as the pride of Vishwamitra. So, many years, much austerity gone by, and he was just where he started. But at this point, he realized something that, it seems that I might be a powerful Kshatriya, but this is a Brahma Rishi, Vasishta Muni, and it seems that his power is much more than I can acquire as a Kshatriya. So at this point, he decided that, okay, he will be a Brahma Rishi. He have to achieve that. And at this point, he decided that, okay, I pleased Lord Shiva previously. Now I try something different. And he again started austerities for many, many years. This time his goal was to please Lord Brahma. And so years went by, big austerities. Lord Brahma appeared, and he said that, okay, now now you became a Raja Rishi. And this was like for Vishwamitra, like a child who wants some kind of big toy, and instead he gets something, something small and handmade or something like that. So something which he really considered much less than he wanted. And meanwhile, in another country, there was another king whose story will come together with Vishwamitra's. There was a king in Ayodhya who was called Trishanku. And Trishanku had a very attractive body, and he was very charismatic. And he became really attracted to to his own body. For hours and hours, he was looking at himself in the mirror. And at some point, he decided that, oh, this is such a nice body. It would be such a big loss to just lose it after in the end of my life. So he started to think about how he could go to the heavenly planets in this body. So as Vasishta Muni was the guru of his dynasty, he approached Vasishta Muni if he could help him in these endeavors. But Vasishta Muni was really disgusted with this idea, because he could see that it's totally just material attachments, and there is no point for these kind of struggles. And he very firmly rejected this idea. And Trishanku was really determined. That was one good quality in him, but it also shows us that determination in itself is not so good. We also have to have good goals. So Trishanku thought that, okay, Vasishta didn't accept this. He couldn't see what a great idea this is, how much it's a new idea. He's just a conservative fool, but maybe his sons, they are young, they probably will take this challenge, because they will be able to prove that they can achieve more than their master. So he approached the 100 sons of Vasishta Muni, but the sons were also intelligent, and they could see that this person just wants to manipulate us. And they really felt respect for their father, their guru. So the result was that Trishanku wasn't only rejected, but he also got a curse from the sons, that his body became really ugly. And because nobody recognized him, so he also lost his kingdom. So it was really a hopeless situation, but he didn't give up. And after some thinking, he decided that, okay, there is this big rival of Vasishta Muni. And probably if I tell him that he could prove that he's better than him, he might help me. So this is what he said, what he did. And actually, he went to Vishwamitra Muni and told him that I just had this idea. It's such a new idea, such a great idea. I really will just approach him and his sons for trying it out to help me. I was really honest, but they rejected me, and they even cursed me. And probably you can see that how great idea this is, and you can you are probably such so much greater sage than Vasishta. So please, please help me. And so you might have seen that Vishwamitra at this point wasn't so humble. So when he heard things like this, he felt that, yeah, this is the way how I could prove that I'm greater than than Vasishta. So he accepted this, and he prepared a big sacrifice and invited all the sages from throughout the world. And they even came because at that point Vishwamitra had great power due to his authorities, and everybody was fearful. So they attended to this sacrifice out of fear. And everybody except Vasishta and his sons. So Vishwamitra wasn't so happy about this, but anyway, he thought that, okay, they will hear the results of this sacrifice. So they did all these offerings and yagya and mantras and stuff. And at this point, at some point, he made Trishanku to be lifted up in the air, and he started to fly towards the heavenly planets, and just flied. And this body is not really suitable for that. It's not, all these astronauts use these helmets and certain type of dress. So at some point it was really painful for Trishanku, and he started to doubt if he really wants this. But at that point he started to see the heavenly planets, and okay, I arrived, everything is okay, and I achieved what I wanted. But then one of the servants of Indra just rushed into Indra's palace and told him that, oh, some unqualified person is approaching to these planets. So Indra is really strict when someone does something like that. And he told a few words about it's not proper, and scolded Trishanku and just pushed him back towards the earth. And so this time Trishanku was falling towards the earth with big speed. And meanwhile, on Earth, the sages thought that, okay, this sacrifice is over. They almost started to leave when they heard big scream, help me. And then they saw Trishanku falling from the sky. And Vishwamitra saw that, and till this point, it was just fulfilling someone's wish. But at this point, it was again about his pride, because he had to prove that he didn't lose in these endeavors. So he again did a few things, and Trishanku again started to fly towards the heavenly planets. Trishanku wasn't so happy at this point, and he really didn't want to do this journey again. And in the end, Indradev again pushed him back towards the earth. And at that point, Vishwamitra realized that, okay, there is no point again sending him to, to the heavenly planets. So he decided to create another heaven for Trishanku. And he had great powers, so he could do that. And it was another heaven with all the clones of the demigods there, with Indra and all others. And so Trishanku was sent there. And at last, he thought that, okay, he can have some rest there. But the problem was that, creating or destroying something is not so difficult. But when we want to maintain something, it's so much more of a challenge. And Vishwamitra started to fear that maintaining these heavenly planets is actually sucking the life out of him. So he really started to panic. And at that point, he started to call out the names of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu appeared, manifested in front of him. And he explained that, yes, creating is much more of an easier job. And maintaining is more difficult, and that's why he does it himself. So he accepted this task of maintaining this heaven instead of Vishwamitra, but because it was the decision of Lord Indra to push down from the planets Trishanku, so Trishanku had to be, upside down from those planets. So in the end, this whole story wasn't a successful one. Maybe many of the sages saw that because there were heavenly planets. Trishanku was there. They couldn't really saw what happened up there. But both Trishanku and Vishwamitra knew that this really was such a great failure, because for both of them. Obviously, for Trishanku it was because he remained in that terrible body and couldn't live a life full of pleasures like he imagined before. But also for Vishwamitra, for all these endeavors, he used up all his powers, which he had throughout all the years. So again, he was where he started, because he let himself to be provoked, and also he was too confident regarding his capabilities. Then after that, another story took place, and it started with Ambarish Maharaj, who had these big sacrifices for his kingdom. And, Indradev used to be a bit jealous and envious and afraid when something like this happens. And he stole the sacrificial animal. So when the sages present at the sacrifice found out that this animal is missing, they told Ambarish Maharaj to get some person who proves to sacrifice his or her life in this sacrifice. So Ambarish Maharaj left the sacrificial arena and looking for this kind of person, but he knew that it's a very difficult task, because who would be willing to give up his life for something like this? But he reached a place, the ashram of Richika Rishi, and Richika Rishi's wife was Kaushiki, who was the sister of Vishwamitra. Kaushiki. And so they had three children, 3 sons. And so the father, Richika Rishi, said that, okay, you might be able to take one of my sons for this purpose, but I'm really, really attached to my oldest son. So please don't take him. Then the mother said that, oh, I'm really, really attached to the smallest, the youngest child, so please don't take him. And you can imagine how this middle son felt. He felt that, oh, I'm not useful to my parents. They rejected me. They don't even love me. Nobody needs me. But okay, this way maybe I might be of help to support somehow my parents, because obviously the king offered something in as a how to say, to give something in return to the parents. And so he offered 100,000 of cows, and the deal was made. So the parents accepted the cows, and Ambarish Maharaj left with this middle son. He was called, I don't know how they read it, I think Shunashepa, because the name came of the Shuna is for dog, and the Shepa is for tail. And yeah, So anyway, they left, and while on the way back to the sacrifice, they had some rest. And Ambarish Maharaj was sleeping a bit, and the boy started to feel that, okay, the deal was made, but now it's just all that remained is that I should give up my life, and it's not such a nice thing to do. Maybe I could somehow avoid it. So he left the king, looking for some ways to avoid being offered in the sacrifice. He didn't want to abandon the king, so actually he wanted the sacrifice to be successful, but in a way that maybe he shouldn't die. So he heard that there is a big sage nearby, and looked for him, and that sage was Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra recognized that this boy is his nephew, his sister's son. So he really wanted to help him. A few things happened here. I don't want to, I'm again a bit behind with time. So anyway, first he wanted to change him for one of his sons, but they rejected. So his sons, Vishwamitra's sons, were cursed. And in the end, he gave 2 mantras to this boy. And told him that when you will be there just to be offered in the sacrificial fire, then tell this, just say out these 2 mantras, and this will help you. So the boy learned these mantras, and when he was stepping into the fire, then he said these mantras, and his life was spared, and the demigods appeared and said that, okay, this sacrifice is successful, and everybody was happy. But this time Vishwamitra also again lost some time, some energy, and again started to think that, okay, I have to be more determined, because all the time something happens, and this way I will never be a Brahmarishi. So again, austerities, great austerities, difficulties, and stuff. And, Indradev saw that, oh, this is not good. This is not good. He will probably want to be the king of heavens, and I really cannot let this happen. So he told one of the apsaras, Menaka, that please help me in this. It's, I'm such a good king of the heavens. It wouldn't be so nice to switch me for this position with this Muni. Please help me to just how to say, take his attention away from his austerities. So Vishwamitra was sitting at the lake, and Menaka, she jumped into the lake, started to sing nicely, because Vishwamitra Muni was sitting there, eyes closed, saying mantras, so he couldn't see anything from outside. But then he started to listen to this really nice singing voice. Through his nose, he could feel these nice aromas in the air. So he became curious and just opened his eyes and saw this beautiful lady in the lake. And then 10 years went by, which he spent in the intimate embrace of Menaka. And after 10 years, he just realized that, oh, what happened? This wasn't really my goal. I do something else, which I wanted to do originally. And then he realized that Menaka is not an ordinary girl. So as he was really intelligent, he could put together all the story that why Menaka came, who sent him. But this was the first time when he really understood that, okay, it was my mistake. I shouldn't blame any other beings for this. So he didn't curse Menaka or anything. He just again started where he originally began. And again, great austerities and stuff. So many years went by, and Indra again became worried. So this time he sent another Apsara called Ramba. And when Ramba again tried to grab the attention of Vishwamitra, so Vishwamitra could see immediately that, okay, this is the same story. I don't want to do this 10 years again. But at that point, it was the other side of the coin of material desires. You know, when you don't get what you wanted, and you become angry, and out of anger, he cursed Ramba. So she became a stone, and also got some other conditions. So she will get back her original form in the future. But at this point, Vishwamitra was really angry at himself because he could see that, okay, not again. I again came off from the road, and he could see that, okay, I have to tame my anger. So again, started to do austerities for the many a time, and then now nicer stories come. So, for example, during his austerities, he many times didn't eat for longer periods of time. And one occasion when he wanted to eat something little, Indradev came in the form of a Brahmana, and he asked for something to eat. And Vishwamitra Muni just gave him everything. He just wanted to eat after such great fasting, and Indra left like that. So we can see that Vishwamitra Muni really started to change. And after much time, at one point, Lord Brahma appeared in front of him with all the demigods and said that, okay, now you became a Brahma Rishi. And also, not just the demigods, but Vasishtha Muni also came. And something really interesting happened at that point, that Vishwamitra Muni took the feet of Vasishtha Muni and started to worship it, to wash it. And Vasishtha Muni just embraced him. And, you know, what happened is that Vishwamitra Muni understood that originally he saw only the position of Vasishtha, but didn't see what it meant, what it meant to achieve this position, and what it means to how to say it. So it's great responsibility also, this position. So he could understand all of this now, and he could feel respect and love for Vasishtha, who was originally his enemy. And I would add one more thing, because it was very interesting. I forgot to mention that. I would read this from the book, because you might remember there was one point when Vishwamitra Muni met with Lord Vishnu. And there is a nice remembrance of that Vishwamitra had always tried to prove himself worthier than Vasishtha and was willing to put in so much effort to that end. Years of non-stop austerity. He had pushed himself beyond his capabilities and continued to move at a great pace to achieve this goal, never stopping to think where he was headed. Meeting Lord Vishnu had been like standing in front of a door that he should have opened. The door had been right in front of him, but he was too preoccupied to open it. He had to become a Brahma Rishi first. So I really felt that it's really like me that I should choose Krishna, But, you know, this is so much more important now. That is so much more important now, like having a house, having a car, having a family, and so many things. But when I will be retired, I will have all the time necessary to read and chant, and then I will do it. So it is just the same. I could see myself on this, in these words. And when he became a Brahmarishi, he realized it was time he explored what was behind that door. He knew all his efforts were in vain. Had it occurred to him back then to completely submit to Lord Vishnu, he would not have had to go through such trouble. Besides, he would have actually reached a higher destination. And after that, we know that Vishwamitra Muni went to Ayodhya and asked for Lord Ramachandra from Dasharat Maharaj. And a little paragraph about that, and then I will finish. So when they are together and Vishwamitra Muni is there and looking at Lord Ramachandra's sleeping face, and then Vishwamitra recalled every effort he had made to convince Dasharat to send Rama along with him. Under the pretext of training him and protecting his sacrifice, he had really wanted some private moments with Lord Ram, to hand over every power he had acquired over the years to him, and ultimately take shelter under his lotus feet. As he gazed at the serene face of Lord Ram, his heart swelled with immense happiness, the kind he had never known before, not even when he was declared a Brahmarishi. So I thought I would share this with you, and that's the end of the story. So if you have anything to discuss, what this story meant for you, please share it. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. This was just so wonderful, so nice and interesting to hear, Mataji. I never knew any of these. I just knew the little bit past time of Vishwamitra Muni and Menka. And that was, shown in the Indian TV programs in Ramayana in my childhood time. So this was really nice pastime of him, and all his journey, how he came to the position that he could spend time with Lord Ram. So this was wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for spending time and with us and telling us the story. It's not easy. And devotees and Sridevi, yes, go on, Mataji.
Yeah, it's just I remember I also, when I read it, and not just parts from here and there, but seeing the whole journey. It's so rare to see someone to have all these challenges which we also have to encounter, and it was really, really amazing.
Yeah, it shows that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
It just gives us, and this is what I think you mentioned, that and that at the end he could achieve what is the ultimate destination is for all of us. So our journey is same, though the struggles for him, the challenges for him was much higher than ours. But yeah, for us these challenges are same. We feel that is the human level is higher.
Mm-hmm.
So one day hopefully we will cross past them and see Krishna.
Yes, and it's so nice to see that we can hear so much about these the saintly devotees, and we can see that for those who are not so saintly, even for those there is hope. So there is hope for us too.
Yeah. Very true, very true. So Mataji, just before we give it to everyone, Sridevi Mataji had to leave early, but she has said that she's really, really enjoyed your storytelling. So devotees, it's open to everyone. If you have any question, comments, realizations, learning from this pastime, please, it's open for discussion. It'll be nice to take your darshan. So if you can keep your cameras on. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Oh, it's really silent.
It's really silent. Okay, then maybe. Yeah. Sudha Mataji, you want to say something?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Such a beautiful class. Thank you. I don't have any questions, but so nicely explained the journey, and so much we have to learn from these pastimes. Like how, Vishwamitra finally he realized that, how he can become Brahma Rishi is not through pride and all that. He need to let go all those things, and through humility and respect, all these qualities will help you to become a Brahma Rishi. And finally, like he realized like how it's important to, surrender to the, how he surrendered to Vashishta Muni. It's so important to surrender to the self-realized souls and learn from them, and surrender to Lord Krishna. So that's so beautiful, Mataji. So many things we learned in this journey. Yeah, thank you again for this beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your thoughts too. It's so nice. Yeah. How important is surrendering to self-realized souls. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And how he got influenced by Maya so many times, and how he realized every step. I really like that. The way you told. Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
I like that how like every step he got influenced by Maya, and then how he realized, this is not how he has to control the anger. So his journey, every step, so nicely you explained, like how he let go all his qualities,
Yes.
And finally he realized that, so to come to the humility and that level, and surrender. I like that. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, actually, when I read this story, I also was thinking how much it reminds me to other stories. Like, Dhruva Maharaj was also the same in a sense that he wanted to achieve something material, and from the mercy of the Lord, and also mercy of Narada Muni, so he could achieve so much more than he originally wanted. But on the other hand, this story of the cow also reminds me that how this Kartavirya Arjuna wanted to get the cow of Jamadagni. And that story had a totally different end, because he had similar motives, but he just he did different things. So he just chose to take away, to steal the cow, and so the end was totally different. So it's also interesting that similar stories have sometimes similar results, sometimes different. So I really liked to think about to compare these, because we can have how to say finer understandings.
Oh yes, Mataji, very true, and thank you so much. And we also realize like the attitude is so important. Like when you're doing any task, it's not for sense gratification. So the motive should be like more like Krishna conscious. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for sharing this.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Please.
It's accepted.
All glories to Guru Maharaj. Mataji, I wanted to just share what I just caught. I was just caught by certain things. Maya, even Vishwamitra could not beat Maya so much. So Maya is so strong that we should always be, in awareness that Maya can, just creep in from any side and we will not even know. So, and even in small experiences of life, we see that. So this is what struck me a lot. Of course, there were a lot of good stories you made, but this struck me a lot, that even a Raj Rishi like Vishwamitra could not, come out of this. So taking up Krishna consciousness, of course, taking the shelter of Krishna is, of course, is the only way that you can beat Maya. Otherwise, there's no other way. But yes, I was just thinking over this thing. Maya is so strong. You can't even imagine how it just creeps in. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the class. It was really very nice. All the stories were wonderful. I did heard some of the stories, but yes, some of the stories were new to me. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and also for sharing your realizations, because it's also something I was all the time I prepared this story for a class which I gave about humility. And my mind was so much focused on those parts because that was the focus at that time. But it's also true that sometimes we think that we can defeat or somehow cheat Maya, but it's not possible. It's really not possible. I remember once I prepared a class about Maya Devi, and I I started to study a little bit. There are these illusionists, and even they can cheat us, and they have so simple tricks, so simple, but even we cannot defend their tricks. And what to say about Maya Devi, who can see everything and who practices for millions and millions of lifetimes, and he has all the facilities to cheat us. So yeah, it's true that we are totally we will never be able to cheat her. But I also like to think of Maya Devi as she helps us test ourselves. So yeah, she's a two-sided person. Yeah, but it's really true what you said.
My guide used to tell me that Maya Devi also loves Krishna a lot, means a lot. So she doesn't want anybody to come near Krishna. She wants to filter the devotees, and the selected ones should go to Krishna, and that is what her job is. And she is doing her job, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's sometimes very difficult to catch this, because many times we take whenever we get some, maybe for example, we get somebody praises us for our dedication, or somebody praises a devotee even for their services or something like that. Then sometimes in certain extent we take Maya for granted. And then there it creeps in. So you just have to be very careful. Yeah, that is some experiences I've heard from some devotees. So we really get astonished that how careful we have to be as a devotee. You cannot take it as granted. Yeah, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you too. Hare Krishna. I just remembered from what you said that there was a time when I came up with this idea that, okay, I should pray to Maya Devi to please spare me. And, it's after some time I realized that, oh my God, it's so nonsense, because she's a devotee and I'm asking her to not do her job properly to Krishna. So, and then I realized that, okay, I stopped this.
Yes, yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding again with the story. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. That was wonderful question from Sudha Mataji and Namrata Mataji. Comments and realization. Thank you. Any other before we close? We've just crossed past 1 hour. We're coming for a feast, Namrata Mataji.
Yes, please, you all are invited. We'll have great prasadam. Come over.
Oh, thank you. Okay, then if there is no other questions, then we can close. Is that okay?
Yes.
Jai. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha kripasindhabhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namo. Jai.
Thank you, Radha Vinodini.
Grace Radha Vinodini Mataji ki Jai.
Thank you very much for listening and for participating, sharing your thoughts. It's I'm so happy that at last there was some kind of discussion.
Yes, Mataji, that's true. Thank you so much for giving your time and association. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everyone. Jai.
Hare Krishna.